First, there are traces of hydrochloric acid in the southern shaft of the Queen's chamber and of hydrated zinc chloride in the northern shaft. If these chemicals are brought together in a confined place, they react very strongly, releasing huge quantities of hydrogen gas. In his book, The Giza Power Plant, Technologies of Ancient Egypt, Christopher Dunn explains the entire process in detail. Step 1. As we've said, the southern shaft of the Queen's chamber contained hydrochloric acid, and the northern shaft contained hydrated zinc chloride, but they were kept at separate ends because they can react together so violently. Step 2. When these chemicals were deliberately mixed together, released towards each other down the shafts and into the Queen's chamber, huge quantities of hydrogen gas would have been released. Step 3. This pressurized hydrogen gas could only flow into the Grand Gallery. Unusually, the Queen's chamber's shafts do not vent externally. After entering the Grand Gallery, the gas passed through 27 mechanical resonators, whose fixings are still in place. Resonance is simply the sound you get if, for example, you blow air across the top of an empty bottle. This sound is, in effect, highly excited, turbulent kinetic energy, which can be used for Step 4. After travelling through the Grand Gallery, the turbulent hydrogen was forced into the King's chamber, where that rhythmical sound energy, created by the resonators, would pulsate against the granite walls, floor and ceiling, compressing and distorting the quartz, and through the piezoelectric effect that we looked at earlier, generate electricity. The Great Pyramid, by all the evidence and science available, may have been the engine of a great power plant, where hydrogen gas was used to create electricity that, indeed, could have been beamed wirelessly around the world, emitted by that gold cap in a way that is exactly the same as Nikola Tesla's amazing proposal for wireless electricity, a proposal that disappeared along with most of his papers. Electromagnetic network in the ionosphere, which, it is suggested, might have been harnessed by UFOs. But in fairness, this is just speculation, fascinating though it is, and we are concerned here with hard, provable facts. Dr. Brett I. Cohen has proposed a somewhat modified version of the theory. Again, it's based on observable facts, but coming to a slightly different scientific explanation of how the pressure waves that compressed the granite were created. Apparently, according to Dr. Cohen, a highly respected physical scientist, there were traces of sulfuric acid in the southern shaft of the Queen's chamber, not hydrochloric acid, as Christopher Dunn has claimed. And in the northern shaft there is ammonium chloride, as well as zinc chloride. Both of these could produce hydrogen without being mixed. And if that excited hydrogen were mixed with oxygen, just from the air, possibly by some form of blast furnace technique, a very powerful chemical explosion would occur. This explosion would create a massive blast wave, or pressure wave, which, as with Christopher Dunn's explanation, would travel through the Grand Gallery and into the King's chamber, violently compressing the granite walls, floor and ceiling, and thus creating electricity. A problem with this explanation is that when the hydrogen and oxygen react to produce an explosion, they also produce water, as we all know, and it would be in huge quantities. Where would it go? Luckily, there is a simple answer. Recently, aquifers, layers of trapped water, have been found directly beneath the Great Pyramid's mysterious subterranean shafts and chambers. Presumably, it's somewhere to drain the water.